Gur maithagad las caithfearla cara tá fáilteót go dtí an teach. Tá mo Gaeilge uafásach ach tá sé seachtain na Gaeilge mar sin caith mé gabair cúpla focail na Scoilge. Tá an ála is fan a bheith an seo a caint an ábhar seo. Ara tá fearfeib an le críocht an Seanad Éireann. It is clear, Minister, that the rental sector in Ireland is dysfunctional. Of course, back in the good old days, when money was flying around this country, we did away with bedsits. Many single elderly people would be very happy to be in a bedsit today rather than sleeping in a cardboard box on one of the streets surrounding this house. Countless governments have allowed the housing sector to go mad over the years. I bought my first house when I was 23. I was a corporal in the army and I was able to buy a house on a corporal's wages. I lost my first house because of a bad business decision, and I have bought and sold 13 houses since as I moved around the country with various changes in career. The interesting thing is, once I got on the ladder, I was able to either get back onto it or stay on it. I now have children. One of those children in an excellent job, married to a man in an excellent job, will never, ever, ever be able to buy a house in this country. Why? Because they're paying about 1.5 times in rent what they would pay in a mortgage, or up to twice what they would pay in a mortgage. When I talk about the housing sector going absolutely mad in this country, the houses out in my estate went to 960,000 during the height of the property boom, and when the boom collapsed they went to 360. Some poor unfortunate paid 600,000 more than the house was worth. I've heard government after government, and no disrespect to my colleagues in the House here, but government after government were going to fix the housing market. What happened? We stopped building council houses. We started to build housing agencies instead. We're pumping hundreds of thousands of euros into, I don't know how many housing agencies there are in the country. Minister, perhaps you'll be able to tell me how many housing groups there are now providing social housing. The truth of the matter is, unless we do something drastic and do it very, very quickly, we will find ourselves in a situation where nobody will be able to live here. An important issue here. Some of the big multinationals that were bringing in employees from abroad who brought specific skills with them, because of the cost of the rental market in this country, these companies had to provide accommodation as well. And I remember speaking to a senior executive of one of those companies some months before the COVID thing hit us, and he told me, you know, Ger, he said, the days of coming to Ireland because Ireland has English are rapidly going. He said, we can get employees in Barcelona who speak English every bit as good as those who live in Dublin. And the cost of accommodation in Barcelona is about 50% of the cost it is here. Having a crack at Sinn Féin for the hell of it, I don't agree with it. I really don't agree with it. What we need in this House and in this government and in this society right now is all of us pulling in the one direction. And there is some merit in what Sinn Féin are saying today. The animal instincts of capitalism are alive and well and living in Ireland. It's a great place if you have money. It's a horrible place if you don't. You talk about the pressure zones. Yes, indeed, pressure zones were introduced. There was no policing of them. I saw a house myself in Drogheda, a couple I helped to find a local authority house. The house they were renting was for rent at $1,100 a month. When they said they were leaving, the landlord said, you can't leave for 4 months because you've been here so long. We got into a bit of an argy-bargy. The woman of the house was walking down the street, saw the house advertised at €1,400 a month. So much for the 4% increase. I rang the landlord and the landlord said, oh, she can leave in the morning. She could leave in the morning because he could get the 1,400 for a house he was getting 1,000 and odd for. So the bottom line on it is you can have all the regulations you want in place, but if you don't police them, there's no getting away from it. Now, we're talking now about taking public land away from county councils and allowing that public land to be used for building social houses. And on the face of that, that looks perfectly good to me. But Minister, you will know, local authority representatives, people elected to local authorities, they're absolutely outraged by this. You're taking whatever few powers they have left away from them. And people will make the accusation here to me that I've never sat on a local authority. Amen, I haven't. I've been very lucky to come here without going through the tough route of local authority membership. But at the end of the day, Minister, it's simply not good enough to start to write our local authority members out of the provision of housing. I would like to see us getting back to the days when we built local authority houses and made the best houses there were available for citizens who couldn't afford to buy their own. Those who are in rental accommodation, who are paying the sort of money I'm talking about, 1.5 times the mortgage, can we not recognise the rent they paid over 3 or 4 years to make a mortgage available to them? The Cathaoirleach is getting tired of me now and I must sit down. So, Minister, I wish you well and I wish Minister O'Brien well. I do think he's trying to do something, but let's not pretend there's a silver bullet out there. There's not. Thank you.